Alright, I'm back. Things have gotten a little bit quieter, so let's try and continue rambling. It's the same day. I'm still wearing I Give Zero Fucks t-shirt, but I'm gonna try and come a little bit closer so I can talk a little bit quieter, but still feel like I'm being heard by the microphone and not by everyone at home. Yeah, anyway, so part 2. Just a few things to add. So before my facial, that was on Tuesday, in the morning, when I was walking Triton. Wait, how much time has passed on this? I just need to make sure I don't say the wrong things too early in the video, otherwise YouTube will get mad. But yeah, just to recap, if you haven't watched the first part of the video, this video might not make any sense because I ran out of time for that. Just been recapping why I haven't made videos in the past while and some of the stresses in my life. Yeah, so picking up where we left off, now that it's been a minute, I think that should be enough time. Tuesday morning before the facial, walking Triton, right. So you know how a lot of people are like, when you have mental health problems, you should exercise more, it'll help. Not for me. A lot of the time when I go for walks, I actually feel worse because I'm away from all my distractions, I think. And then my brain, doesn't have anything challenging to process, so it goes to bad places if I'm doing badly that day. If it's just a regular day, I don't even know what I think about. But if I'm down, going for a walk is a bad idea because then that's all I can think about. Like, I'm walking around, I don't care about the view or whatever. Now sometimes we do, with Triton, we go into shops and talk to people and that can be distracting, but if we're just walking, which is most of the walk, yeah, not a good plan. So Tuesday morning, that was the day after I've already gotten myself distracted. So I think Sunday's when shit hit the fan, and then Monday slept okay, but I was still struggling. Oh no, I need a pause already because I've confused myself. Okay. Monday, that was the day that, I slept okay that night because I was just so exhausted. So yeah, that day, things were all right. I saw my doctor. We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, then in the afternoon, a friend came over and left in time for me to get a good amount of sleep. She knows what I'm going through. But then that night I woke up really early because I thought I heard a dog barking. But what is going on with my notes? Okay, this is what happens when I don't make videos as soon as something happens, because I just forget stuff. But yeah, so then Tuesday morning, I didn't sleep well again. And so when I was out on this walk with Triton, I was actually having some really dark thoughts. That's probably more extreme for me with suicidal ideation. Like, usually I just sort of think about it and it's just a sort of passing thing. Like, it's upsetting, but it's not in any way serious. But that morning, it was pretty bad, some of the stuff that I was thinking about. And I was also fucked up enough that I was actually struggling not to cry in public as I was walking him. And I did get teary, especially early on in the walk. I think towards the end, I was a little bit more distracted. But yeah, no, that walk was really hard. And so that's the thing that happened on that Tuesday before I had the facial. And then I kind of just I was very, lethargic and listless for most of the day and kind of didn't do very much. And then I realized I should have put on some music. If I'm not going to do anything, at least I could have chucked on some music. But I didn't think of that. Anyway, so then I had the facial massage and felt a lot better afterwards. Okay, so before we get on to talking to my doctor, another thing is, when all this went through, I think on Monday or maybe Sunday night, I don't even remember, I emailed my psychologist. Might have been Sunday night. Who cares? Doesn't matter. I emailed her, and one of the things, so with these increased breakdowns that I'm having with the loud sobbing, the last time I asked her about that, she thought it was actually a good thing, like a sign of progress. I'm letting it out and I'm expressing it in a way that other people notice instead of just keeping it to myself. So I guess my body is like automatically crying for help when I won't ask for it or some shit like that. She thought it was a good sign, but I've emailed her saying like we might have misinterpreted that because it is getting more and more extreme, and some of the thoughts that I'm having are dangerous. So yeah, I've written to her saying, you know, I think we might have misinterpreted this. I don't know that these increased breakdowns are a sign of progress, of like emotionally opening up for me. I think it's more, it feels and seems more like a sign of me losing control, which is concerning. Because yeah, I don't have, while I'm in the moment, I don't have control over it. And I'm just like, at some point, I don't know if I'm going to do something I can't come back from. And you know, there is this thing that, I can't remember where I came across it or what I read, but like, I don't know if it was a study, so don't quote me on this, but I remember something about, they found that before people try to off themselves, there's a change in the brain, and so it's not really in their control at that point. I mean, obviously it would depend on the situation, but in like mental health cases, that can be a thing that happens. And I'm kind of just like, you know, it's not something that I would normally seriously think of doing, but like, what if I get to that stage where my brain is just like, nope, and snaps and doesn't give me that 24-hour period to think about it? Like, what if I don't have control over it to that extent? So yeah, I have alerted my psychologist to that, because like these days, things about my depression have changed a little bit. Like in the past, it was more of like a constant low-level depression, whereas now I feel more like I'm mostly neutral most of the time. But in some ways, that low-level depression that I would have felt constantly, it's like it's all being saved up and then being dumped on me in one go, which I don't know is better. So yeah, I'm seeing her, I think, in another week. Yeah, so there wasn't really much point going in early. She did offer it, but there's not much point of seeing her in a week. So I'll see what she says about that. I'm just, you know, I'm doing okay today. I don't know why I'm doing okay today, but I'm trying not to nap. I didn't nap. I did more art today. I shouldn't do art in 2 days in a row though, because my hand starts to hurt, so I should have done some music instead. Anyway, bit too late to start on that today. Maybe tomorrow, if I'm functioning okay. It really depends on how much sleep and the quality of sleep that I get, so cross fingers, because I do want to do more music. Okay, so with Monday, we're seeing my GP. Now, this is not so much mental health related, but one of the things my psychologist has said and has reported back to my GP is the fact that my physical health appears to be getting in the way of my mental health progress, particularly with fatigue, like just having no energy. How can I make changes to my life if I have no energy constantly? Now, most of that is to do with sleep issues, but something I noticed recently is I'm using a lot of corticosteroids, so it's in my mouth ulcer stuff. I caved and I got Kenalog because the other stuff just wasn't doing it, and like, you know, having a mouth ulcer for a week or two at a time, it's really hard. Like, it's harder to eat stuff. You know, I've still got this bag of, you know, Aldi nuts and fruit, and I found they brought back the one that I like, but I haven't even opened it because I haven't managed to finish this because I had mouth ulcers, I think for a lot of the time that my parents were away, a lot of March anyway, and I just haven't gotten back into the habit of nibbling those yet. So I caved, I got the Kenalog, I read up on the internet about the best way to use it, still struggling a bit because it's so fiddly, but I'm getting a little bit better at it, and it has a corticosteroid in it, so that instead of just relieving the pain, it makes the inflammation go down and helps it heal faster, and in some cases can stop recurrence or slow down recurrence, so cross fingers for that. I think it is working a little bit faster, not as fast as I would like, but yeah, I caved, got that, Kenalog, so corticosteroids in my mouth ulcer stuff now. In my nasal sprays for hay fever, they have corticosteroids in them along with an antihistamine, at least in the morning one. And then for like random little skin things that pop up. I also have an expired tube of corticosteroid Dermaid cream. So that's a lot of corticosteroids. And I just thought, like, out of curiosity, go on Google, what happens if you're low in cortisol, which is what that's sorting out, right? I just thought I'd have a look up, because I'm not a doctor. What if I have something else? Might as well look it up, try and come up with ideas. Is there something we've missed? I don't know that I'm getting tired of sitting like that. I don't know that we've ever checked on my hormones and stuff like that. Cortisol, I've never really seen it in one of my blood tests, so I just thought I'd ask my doctor about it, like, what if? Because, so I don't think I would have anything severe, because, like, severe adrenal insufficiency is the one. There is a thing called adrenal fatigue, but it's a pseudo-scientific term, and there's no clear evidence that it exists, so don't start with me on that. But adrenal insufficiency, and I think there's other conditions that are sort of related. A lot of the symptoms I seem to have, like low appetite, low blood pressure, fatigue, I forget what else is on there. But I was like, what if I just had it mildly? Because another source was saying that symptoms can come on slowly over a long period of time, and I have been getting worse over time. I've had less energy over time. So I just thought, I'll ask her, have we tested for it? Could it be a possibility? Could we also check hormones? Although I am taking the pill, so my female hormones are just unnaturally boosted constantly, so it's probably a bit too hard to actually check that and know whether or not that's doing anything at this point. But I'm kind of not willing to come off it, because I'm on it for period pain, and when I was having periods, I skip them all now. When I was having periods, and even the reason I skip it is because the effect wore off. I have to just not have a period. It would be debilitating pain for like a week, and it's also inconvenient and gross, but like the pain, I couldn't do anything for a week every single month. It's possible I have endo and it's just never been diagnosed, but you can manage depending on how severe it is and blah 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 blah. Some people manage it with the pill anyway, so being tested probably wouldn't change much if I've got a management strategy already. So that's why I don't want to come off the pill. I did try and change which pill I'm on, but it affected my mood negatively, so let's not do that again. I'm just going to sit in this sort of, you can't see the posture that I'm sitting, but it is awkward. Yeah, and so I asked my doctor about that, but she's like, no, you've been like this for ages, it wouldn't be that, blah blah blah, didn't even want to test it. I'm like, okay, fine. What she wants to do is send me to a dietitian. Because she thinks, she asked me what I ate yesterday, the day before the appointment. Now, one day of the week, and that happened to be a day where I was doing really badly, might not be the best snapshot of my diet. And, when I said that, yes, sometimes I do skip lunch, she took that bit, but then didn't listen to the part where I said, but when I've done that, I try and make up for it with a larger afternoon tea. Nope, she just hears the part where I skipped lunch and focuses on that. Whatever. So she thinks, based on the day before's diet, she thinks that I'm on a weight loss diet, which I'm not, but whatever. And so she wants me to see a dietitian. She reckons that I need to eat more and eat more of different things, and that'll give me more energy. I think my problem is really the sleep. Honestly, like, never mind the cortisol stuff. I think just not being able to get enough sleep is a big problem for me. But what can I do? I can't really escape. Like my parents did ask about, should I move out? But it's impossible in this economy. And do I even know how to look after myself anymore? I have no idea. I have no idea if I would be able to function. I seem functional sometimes, but I can also just sit around doing nothing and not eat, probably, and probably just die and no one would notice. So, yeah, but yeah, the economy's fucked and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so, stuck in this situation, can't sleep. I think that's the real problem. But yeah, with the diet, I mean, the thing is, my appetite is better than it was 10 years ago or however long ago it was when I was on meds, and, the medication I was on, citalopram, that's the one I was on for the longest. That's why I couldn't put on any weight, and I went under 47 kilos at one point, which is really bad for my height. It's officially underweight at that point. And I think underweight by a few kilos. Anyway, so I have more of an appetite than I did then. My weight is higher. My weight is relatively stable. I sort of oscillate between 50 and 52 these days, which is fine for my height. If you're going, like, I know BMI is outdated, but it's okay as a guide. So yeah, I'm eating better. I'm eating more variety. Because suddenly, like, you know, at some point, my taste just changed. It's weird. Apparently, I eat sashimi now. Apparently, I even eat red bean. I never used to eat red bean. Like, I don't know. This is why it's so hard to keep a sense of myself, because I'll just randomly change and be like, where did that come from? I guess that's me now. Yeah, no, I eat better. I eat more variety. And yet, I have less energy than back when I didn't eat so well. And I know that I was on antidepressants, that probably gave me the energy. But I think I'm healthier now, and yet I don't have energy. And also, before I was on antidepressants and also not eating great, because I was just never that into a lot of food, always had low appetite. That's why that medication, I didn't realize it was making my appetite even worse, because I just was used to having low appetite. But yeah, no. Even before I went on the meds, I had more energy. Now that's probably youth, I guess. But I wasn't eating as well as I am now. I was underweight before I went on meds, and I just became more underweight. So I don't know about this whole dietitian thing. The other thing is, she's sending me to a dietitian who specializes in mental health and disordered eating type whatever. So they're used to seeing people with actual eating disorders. I don't have an actual eating disorder. So the other problem with that is I don't know if I'm going to get anything back on Medicare. She is trying to set up a GP management plan for me, because I'm also seeing a psychologist. So if you're seeing two specialists, apparently you can get a bit more back from Medicare, but I don't know how much it covers, if it covers anything at all. So it's going to be expensive. I'm going. Okay, I have agreed to go. I've already called the practice. I've already booked in. And I've got to fill in this intake thing, and I've got to do a 3-day food diary, and the appointment's not for a few weeks, so I'm just not going to get around to it yet. But and I have to tell them what my concerns are, and I'm like, I just need more energy. I don't really want to be there, and probably when I walk in for the initial appointment, it's a 90-minute appointment. When I walk in, I think I will be upfront and just be like, look, I don't want to be here, but my doctor said this. I'm willing to try stuff, but I don't like people telling me what to eat. And I've seen a dietitian before. I think this is when, I think I was on meds when I saw the dietitian last time, and she convinced me to eat a larger Nando's order. That's pretty much all I really got out of it, though, because like she wanted me to make smoothies and, you know, eat more nuts and stuff. Now eating nuts is cannibalism, because I am also a nut, but I don't know, I eat more nuts than I used to. Look, I've almost got through the packet. That's mostly me eating all that. And then like with smoothies, so this is the thing that worries about me about the whole idea of dietitian shit. Because I'm doing better than I used to. My goal for many years has just been to eat more. It doesn't matter what, just eat more, because I knew that I was underweight. So, you know, now what, they want to change what I'm eating? I don't know. And the thing is, I already have severe mental illness, right? I don't have the energy to do anything complicated with food. Like, if they want me to make a smoothie, what does that involve? You know, if they think that's a way that I can get more fruit or whatever in. To make a smoothie, you've got to have all the fruit, and you've got to have a blender. We have a blender. But then you've got to, like, chop it up, chuck it in, do the thing, drink it, and hope that it tastes good, depending on what you put in it. And then you have to clean it up. So you're going to clean, glass goes in the dishwasher, okay, but then the like actual machine, they're always so fiddly. And then also clean up the chopping board and the knife. And should I be around sharp knives given what I've been going through lately? Maybe not. There's just like a lot of steps just to eat food. I cannot. If they suggest shit like that to me, it's not going to happen. Like, probably they'll suggest shit like this. I'm already on it. I just need to not have mouth ulcers so that I actually feel like eating more. Especially because stuff like this, especially the nuts, the one with the nuts, it gets stuck in your teeth. I have quite big gaps in my teeth from a lot of dental work in the past. For those of you who've been following my channel long enough to have seen those videos before I foolishly deleted them, you know, when they get stuck in your teeth, then naturally you play with, you know, you get your tongue and try and like run your tongue over them to get the bits out before you finally realize you should just go and get a toothpick. But if you have mouth ulcers, that's really even more annoying until you can find a fucking toothpick. So yeah, like, you know, there's a lot of barriers to eating stuff in that way that I don't think they would realize are an issue. And the other thing is acquiring food. Yeah, I could put it on the shopping list and maybe ask my parents, but constantly, I'm like, what, do I ask my parents to prepare this stuff for me all the time? I don't know, like maybe they are worried about me, so maybe they would, but it's just like, I don't know, is this a schizoid thing that I don't want other people to do my shit for me? Maybe it's that stubbornness, maybe it's that whole not asking for help thing again, I don't know, but it's just like, thinking about trying to do stuff myself, I have to go to a shop, and now if it's a food shop, I can't take Triton in there. I like to take him because it's two birds, one stone. I go and do things, so like if I need to get cash out from the bank, the ATM is on the street, he can wait next to me. And Mecca, if I need to pick up me freaking boxes, he's allowed in, he can come with me. And so I feel like he's getting a walk at the same time. He's coming with me, he's cute, we're getting things done. That's fine, I can do that. But he can't come into a food shop with me. There is one shop that maybe we could go to, but it's down the bottom of a hill, and trying to carry groceries up that big hill is really difficult. So yeah, that means I have to make a separate outing by myself just to buy some extra food, and it's like, I have enough trouble leaving the house as it is. You know, I don't want to have to put on all my clothes, you know, instead of my day pajamas, like actual going outside clothes. Go out, do the walking, buy the stuff, walk back, come home all sweaty, change back into my comfy clothes, and then do whatever I need to do with the food. Oh my god. And there's only so much I can carry, and I don't like driving. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, am I just being silly with all this stuff? It's just like, that's the stuff that goes through my brain when I think about trying to do all this stuff. And then chances are the stuff that they want me to eat, I may not like. I don't like overly fancy food, and I don't know, I don't understand the hype about a lot of different nuts that people like to eat. You know, pistachio is fine, gets a bit salty after a while, but most nuts are like really boring. I don't know why people are so into them. So many are so boring. Yeah, I don't know, I mean, have heard that schizoid, and this could also be a depression anhedonia thing, but just not being able to enjoy anything includes not being able to enjoy food properly, so then you don't eat as much. Yeah, so I don't know how this is going to go. Like, I've agreed to at least go to the first session. I've got to do this 3-day diary. I've got to finish. I started filling out the intake form, but then they want my credit card details, and I'm like, really? Can't I just pay there? Why does everything have to be online? Why do I have to give you something that could be a security risk if you haven't secured your systems properly? Yeah. So that's another thing that's going on. I'm gonna see another fucking dietitian. And it's been like pretty much 10 years, almost exactly 10 years since I last saw a dietitian. And just the idea of preparing food. The other thing is, I don't have a lot of control over the food at home because it's my parents who do the shopping. I kind of sort of got banned from going shopping with them because I used to put extra stuff in the cart, but also it's a lot of effort to go shopping with them. And then mum loves to cook, and she hates eating the same thing 2 days in a row for like a month. So she's constantly rotating stuff, and that's her thing, and I'm not going to screw with it. So yeah, I don't really have a lot of say over what I eat, at least for dinner anyway. So it would mainly be lunch. But yeah, it's sort of like, if I'm on a roll doing something, it's a bit harder to have lunch. Now, I think Triton has helped me structure my days better, so then I do have a lunch because he wants a lunch. And he expects that we'll be eating at some point, so that's helped me a bit with that routine. It's just, yeah, there've been some days where I've been preoccupied with something and it's been pushed back. whatever. Yeah, so I think that's kind of everything that's going on that I wanted to talk about for now. And like, that's not even getting onto like this band that I'm in that hasn't really done anything for a year, at least not involving me. It might finally get a rehearsal going, but I'm still kind of waiting because there's a few other complicated things that have popped up recently. So I really don't know what's going on with that band. Also, one nice thing that Dad did when I had that full breakdown, like we're trying to think about how do we, like I have this sense that something kind of dramatic needs to change in my life. I can't keep doing this thing where I'm just treading water. Eventually I'm going to drown if I do that. So I need to change something in my life, like in a big way, but I don't know what. And one thing that, you know, we talked about is I do best when I have external deadlines that are meaningful and convincing. Like I did well academically because you have assignments, and if you don't do the assignments, you fail. And for some reason my brain cannot accept failure, and in fact will go above and beyond and usually try and get a good mark. Unless I have a guy running the class who has a PhD in design, but he doesn't know the difference between a bibliography and a reference list, and then also has a 5,000 word limit, but wants us to only write 3,000 words. Why put that in the assignment? Like, why not just make 3,000 the limit? Fuckwit. Sorry. Outburst. I've had a lot of shit lecturers. That was at art school. Art school lecturers, very hit and miss. Some of them are amazing, some of them are just terrible. And he was one of them. How can you have a PhD and not know the difference between a bibliography and a reference list? Come on, mate. Anyway, in his class, I did sit back. And like, you know, my thing was about asexuality, and there's not a lot of great research about it. So I ended up not really using too many sources anyway, because I have lived experience. More lived experience. And I wrote it in non-fancy language. You know, I wrote it in more straightforward language, because academic language is so full of bullshit. I can do it, I just don't want to. I'm not going to fuck around. You can understand what I'm reading. It doesn't make it any less, like, it's the same ideas, just presented in a more accessible way. What's wrong with that? Sounding fancy doesn't make you fancy, doesn't make you intelligent. Yeah, so I didn't try as well in his class. Also, with the first two assignments, I realized that I could actually fail the final thesis and still pass the entire course because I did well enough. So yeah. Anyway, I did better, getting back to the point, I did better with deadlines. External deadlines, meaningful ones. And so, like, you know, recently I had my artwork in the exhibition, and I wanted to make an artwork on something that's easy to hang, so I wouldn't have to frame one of my paperworks. So that got me to do an artwork with actually some composition in it instead of just so much randomness, and it looked good and got it into the exhibition. And that was an external deadline that was meaningful, and, you know, because I had to submit it on a certain day, and it's like, you know, I want to try and do more in art. Cool. So the thing I was talking about with Dad, like, I want to do it more with my music. If I had like a gig lined up, then I would, you know, I'd have incentive to practice my music, to get an act together, to practice makeup and clothes, and just get prepared and then do the gig. And, you know, gigs give me adrenaline, which is something I can feel, unlike other things that rely only on the brain. Adrenaline is through your body. So yeah, that works better for me. I made a video about that a while back. And so he actually started looking up places to gig. He doesn't know where because, you know, he doesn't follow the same music and doesn't really do anything in the local scene, even with the music he is into. But he made an effort to try and find heavy venues, and there's one that has an open mic that I've been thinking about for a while, but it's annoying to get to, and having to go to an open mic where people are plucking around on a fucking acoustic guitar when my act is more polished and very much not acoustic guitar. Like, there's a lot more in it. Even though it's backing tracks, like, I have written those tracks and it's more complex, there's many layers to it. I don't know, I'm still working on, I was scheming with a friend, like, can I have her come on as like a DJ and then, I don't know, have a mannequin wearing my fancy wig if I can't wear my cyber wigs anymore. Or maybe backup dancers and then call that a band, like Baby Metal it, just have backup dancers who don't really do very much. And I don't know. Maybe there's a way to shoehorn it into classifying as a band instead of a soloist. Then maybe I could do band night instead of open mic night. But anyway, we were going to go to open mic. He was going to come with me. He was going to actually drive me so that I would not have the barrier of public transport or getting myself there, however, which actually is helpful because I do need barriers to be reduced to help me do these things. So that was really nice. That was yesterday, I think. Yeah. I mean, we're both kind of tired, but also I noticed Mum had the Wagyu thin slices defrosting, and I knew exactly what she was going to cook. And I'm like, on a scale of watching shitty acoustic guitar singer-songwriters and so on versus eating some of the best food ever, I'm going to stay home and eat the best food ever. So maybe we'll do it next week, I don't know. Or maybe I'll just email the guy who runs it and see if I can do band night instead of open mic night. Because the other thing is band night, like it's kind of an open band night. You get, I think, 20 to 30 minutes in your set, whereas the solo one, you only get 10 minutes. It's not worth my while dressing up for that. It's not worth my while dressing up, traveling all that way just to play 10 minutes. That's only like 2 or 3 songs. You kidding? So I don't know. But yeah, it's nice of Dad to, put in the effort. And he also was like gonna come in if he could find a parking spot, otherwise come back and pick me up. And if he does come in, I mean, he looked at some photos and was like, oh, I don't know if I fit in, maybe I should bring a wig. And the other thing is maybe I could chuck a bass, give him a bass, just to stand there, pretend to play, have his wig on. I don't know. But yeah, no, so I need to get into more music. I need to find a gig to just get my butt together. Like, I need meaningful external deadlines. If I have a gig to prepare for, me being me, I'll be like, right, I have to learn this stuff, like, refresh my memory on all my own lyrics, refresh my memory on my choreography, and make sure all my gear is working and just get prepared. Like, that helps me a lot if I don't have things to work towards, which at the moment I kind of don't. Not anything with a deadline. So I need things to work towards that I feel at least a little bit of external pressure, not overwhelming external pressure, the right amount of external pressure. Yeah, so I need to try and do that kind of stuff. I think that's the only other thing. Was I trying to get to a point? I don't know if there was a point to that story other than it being like another thing that's going on for me, trying to get into that. I actually have a to-do list as well. Oh shit, I haven't published my poetry book. I haven't finished proofreading the print copy because there are a few things I think I needed to fix. Oh well. God, I do have a list of things to do. It's just like often I look at this to-do list and I'm just like, oh, I don't feel like doing any of that today. So it's hard. But yeah, no, okay. The thing about doing a part 2 for my life update or whatever I'm going to title these 2 videos is that I can see the timer and it says 33 minutes and it's like, I could just keep going. I am a little concerned that because I paused the video earlier on that my voice might get out of sync because I think that's what does it sometimes, but hopefully I don't need to fix it in editing. If I did need to fix it in editing, I could put the 2 videos together, but I think I shouldn't because I've made it go for so long. This would be such an epic video otherwise. So we do two-parter, except instead of being a, 50-minute video, it's now a 40-minute video plus a 35-minute video. Hey, well, welcome back to the chaos. Hopefully I'll be able to do a bit more YouTube. Oh yeah, it's sort of important, like one thing my psychologist has identified is that actually YouTubing is probably important to my mental health. We're not entirely sure why, but I think it's because I get stuff off my chest because I can't really talk to my parents about this stuff. Dad's getting a little bit better, but some of his thinking is still a bit not what I need to hear. So I think just being able to express stuff online and not be interrupted and just get it out of my head. I need stuff out of my head, otherwise it stays in there and spirals around. I think it's actually good for me. And so my psychologist has encouraged me to keep up the YouTubing. So here I am. I just need to be well enough because I need to be able to make the video, and then I need to be able to review the video, fill out the metadata. I am not doing the ads anymore. I posted in my community tab a little while back. YouTube's changing the way that they're doing mid-roll ads, and they're basically making it redundant for me to look at it myself. They want to do it their way. They think their robots are better than us as humans at determining where to put ads. And I just can't be bothered to fight it. I can't be bothered. So I'm sorry if you get extra ads in videos lately. It's just because YouTube are being dicks. And it's annoying because, like, I will sort of pause in the middle of a sentence like that, and they think that it's two different ideas when I could just be taking a breath or just taking a moment to figure out, oh, there's food available. I gotta wrap this up. Oh shit, did I lose my train of thought? Oh no! I completely lost my train of thought. YouTubing. YouTubing is good for me to get stuff out of my head. Oh, I completely lost my train of thought. Damn. Okay, well, whatever that thought was, if I think of it again, if I hadn't finished whatever I was saying, I'll chuck it in the comments and just pin it. I've got to go and see what this food is. That's the accidental end of the video. But basically, I should keep YouTubing. Oh, I need to have the energy. Is that what I was talking about? Oh, the YouTube situation with the ads? Yeah, I just can't be bothered to fight them anymore, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, the AI will probably put ads in the middle of a sentence because of the way that I talk. I don't have a script. They assume that you have a script, I guess. So yeah, I'll take a breath. They might put an ad in there. There's nothing I can do to stop it. They think their robots are smarter than humans. I hate this AI tech obsession. It's just... the tech bros... Technology has gone downhill, but that's another rant. I've got to go see what this food is about. Look at me. I'm eating food. I'm focusing on food. Why do I need to see a dietitian? Bye.